Welcome to the podcast.
It's the Anything Goes podcast with Duzzy Clayton.
Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to it. My name is Duzzy Clayton, and you're tuned into the Anything Goes podcast with myself, Duzzy Clayton. Once again, I've got a very cool musician on the line. He goes by the name of SeanJ, and I've got him along the line via Zoom. Sean, welcome to the show, and how are you doing, man?
Duzzy, thank you so much, firstly, for having me on the show. I'm very good. I know you can't see me right now, but I got a fresh haircut just for you for this interview.
Oh, there we go. Well, like I said, like you said, we can't see each other, but hopefully that energy from your hair will make this interview go nicely, you know?
Absolutely.
I have so many problems sometimes with Zoom, like either someone can't hear me or, you know, this or that, and then, you know, sometimes the interviews don't go as smoothly as possible, but your hair to God's ears, let's make this one a smooth one.
There we go. Let's make some magic.
Cool. Before we get into your song and all of that kind of stuff, can we just start off, first of all, where are you calling in from? And also, where did you grow up? And what sort of got you into music, that sort of thing?
So I am currently calling you from Paarl, the beautiful Winelands area. Grew up in Paarl, lived here, and then I matriculated also here, and then I moved to Johannesburg in 2010 and 2011 to go and study there. Stayed there for 11 years. And in 20, the side.
Sorry, Sean, you broke up there for a few seconds. Can you just talk about, you said that you stayed in Johannesburg for 11 years, and then I lost you there.
Okay, so after matriculating, obviously here in Paarl, I moved to Johannesburg to take my studies further at the University of Witwatersrand. And there I graduated with my honors in music, specifically jazz vocal performance. And I ended up staying in Johannesburg for about 11 years and then moved back to Paarl in 2021 and landed up in radio. And that's what I do now.
Okay, well, that's really cool. Well, outside the podcast, I'm also a radio DJ. So, you know, it's pretty cool that you're also into radio. How do you feel, how do you find doing radio? And, you know, what's your hours like? Because I'm a lunch show DJ. So I'm Monday to Friday lunch show.
So I think we're quite similar. I do the afternoon drive show on a radio station here based in Paarl. And so I'm 3 to 6 in the afternoons. But, you know, it doesn't, the job doesn't start at 3 to 6. There's a lot of prep, obviously, as you know, that goes into it. So a lot of people are like, ooh, you do radio, so just 3 hours of work a day. No, my day does not start at 3 p.m.
I can vouch for that because, sorry, Sean, I can vouch for that because being a radio DJ also, it actually starts not even the same day. Sometimes it starts a few days earlier if you're playing new music and you've got to email the bands and say that you're playing new music and all this type of thing. So, yeah, it's a lot more than 3 hours a day.
I actually have a question for you. Which side do you prefer being on? On the asking the questions or answering? Because for me, I had a conversation with someone today about this interview, and I said to him, I don't know, I get so nervous when I have to answer the questions because you're not in control.
I'm exactly the same.
So,
I'm exactly the same. I prefer to ask the questions. And also for some reason, because I have been interviewed before, like on the other side, and for some reason my mind wanders, you know what I mean? And then it's like, sorry, what was the question? Because I wasn't actually paying attention. But when I'm asking the question, then I'm more focused in the conversation.
We're on that same wavelength, Duzzy.
Yeah. There we go. So you mentioned jazz, that you know, when you study jazz and all, is that your preferred genre, or how would you describe your sound and genre to the people?
That's a very difficult question to answer me because I'm inspired by so many different sounds. I was only really introduced to jazz when I got into high school around grade 10. My vocal coach then, Lynette Peterson, introduced me to this jazz sound. And I was so fascinated by the different styles in jazz itself.
Yeah,
and she took me to the Grahamstown. Yeah, she took me to the Grahamstown Jazz Festival. And I was just like, wow, Like, I don't know, my mind was blown by all these different sounds. And that is how I decided to then go and study jazz as a degree. Yeah.
Yeah. Jazz is an interesting genre. I haven't. We'll get back to your question. I just want to say, jazz is an interesting genre because sometimes it doesn't look like they're playing the notes in the right places. If you know, but like you said, there's so many different forms of jazz. So there's swing jazz and there's this jazz and that jazz. So probably the stuff that I've heard of, I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? But then you get an artist like Nora Jones, who's an amazing artist, and when she does jazz, I'm like, I'm into this, sort of thing.
And that's what I'm saying is there's all these different styles within jazz. I mean, you get your bebop. Not everyone loves bebop, but then you will listen to someone like Nora Jones, who doesn't necessarily do bebop, but that is also considered as part of the jazz genre.
Okay, yeah. All right, so jazz is in there somewhere, but you did say it's a hard question because you do like all kinds of other sounds and genres. Where does everything fit into?
I mean, I'm inspired by so many different sounds. To go back to your first question, where did this all begin for me? I woke up one morning on a Sunday. I think I was about 10 years old. And I literally went into my parents' bedroom and I said, I'm singing church today. And my mother was like, what? You've never sung in front of people before. You don't even sing. I was like, I'm singing church today. Please call the pastor and tell him that I am doing a singing item today in church.
That's very confident.
I was ready. I woke up that morning ready to go and perform for the church. And the following day, my mom then enrolled me for singing lessons. I was doing gymnastics at the time, and she was like, you have to choose which one. So I picked singing, and I do not regret it one bit, looking back at it now. How many years later. So but along my journey, I was inspired. Like I said, I only started listening to jazz at a much later stage in my life. And the funny thing is, after I graduated, one of my mentors in Johannesburg, James Bassingthwaite, he said to me, listen, if you want to make money in this industry, you're gonna have to do a little bit more than just jazz. So I was like, okay, because when you're studying, you sometimes get into a purist mindset, like jazz is here and everything else is beneath. A lot of people think like that. A lot of the jazz cats think like that. And he said to me, you're gonna have to do other styles, pop, whatever it is, pop, R&B, and then he got me into corporate entertainment. So I quickly discovered, okay, if I want to survive, this is one of the things that I'll have to do. And you have to be able to be versatile as a musician in any case.
Yeah.
And so through that, I was introduced and through all these different styles. And I think I really honed my craft doing all these gigs that were not jazz. And I think that formed my sound as SeanJ.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. You'll probably, and maybe not now, but even probably down the line, you'll probably feel or see that jazz still kind of creeps into whatever your sound is now from doing all the other gigs and, honing that craft.
Yeah.
Jazz, I
Absolutely.
think you got a love for jazz and it's going to come in some way,
Yeah. It's still there. I mean, writing a song, it's improvisation. That is how songs get constructed, because you're improvising. In order for the end product to happen. So I think that, and improv is a big part of jazz. So I think that's what I take away a lot from my studies when I'm writing my own music.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. I like that. I wanted to ask you something now. Being a radio DJ also, do you feel that, when you exposed to so much different kinds of music, that there's some music that you like now that you would, not to say that you didn't like it, but because you've been exposed to it more now, you think, this is like quite a cool genre, because I never used to be into country, but I think it was more because I wasn't exposed to it more. But now I've got like this PR guy, Caden Gordon, and he only works with country artists, so he's constantly sending me country music, and I'm like, this is actually cool. I don't know why I never got into this in the first place. Do you feel the same way as being a radio DJ and, the music that you're starting to like also changes a bit?
Absolutely. I think one of the genres that I definitely myself listening to is piano, and I've interviewed a few artists, because you have what piano is, and I've interviewed a number of artists who specialize in the genre, and they've really opened up my eyes and my ears to the sound. So I do appreciate it now. Country is also one of them. I never thought that I would be into country, but now it's an absolute love for that sound. And I think even my own sound is now inspired by country music. There are little not gems, but you'll find little touches of country along the way if you listen carefully.
Yeah. You see, my go-to country was always like Dolly Parton and maybe like Kenny Loggins, and that's as much as I knew about country. Yeah. But like jazz or like so many other genres, there's also different kinds of country. There's so many sub-genres in the genre, which is also quite mind-boggling to get involved in.
Well, what people might not know, I'm also a vocal coach, and one of my students also he firstly really introduced me to these other country artists. Like you said, we always go to Dolly Parton, if we're thinking country, but there are so many others. And I don't know, he had like a thing for country music. Whenever we had to work on a song, it would be a country song.
Yeah.
So, so he also just opened up my mind to just exploring that sound a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. I want to talk a little bit more about your journey. So, age 10, you announced to your mom, I'm going to be singing in the church. The next day, she enrolls you, in a few courses and, singing lessons. Now, you're a musician and not only jazz, but you're doing other kind of stuff. And also, now you've just dropped a bombshell that you're also a vocal coach. That's quite a big journey already. How's the experience been up until this point? You know what I mean? You're obviously learning from everything. Even being a vocal coach, I think being a vocal coach, you're also learning a lot as you're going along the way also, I would think.
Absolutely. One of the main things that I will always take away from doing all these different things is, and I think if anything, what COVID taught us is that you have to be multi-skilled if you want to survive in this industry. And being exposed to all these different parts of the industry has really helped me to sustain myself. When the industry was on like complete lockdown and I moved back to Paul, I was like, what am I going to do? And one of the things I've always been interested in is radio presenting. And the funny thing is, I was invited onto the breakfast show of the radio station where I currently work.
Yeah.
And they were interviewing me about my previous single and I walked out of this, and the GM of the radio station basically offered me a job there and then. And he said, have you ever done radio? Because you've got a vibe and like the way you sound on air. So I said to him, no, but I've got experience in presenting, but I've never done radio presenting.
Yeah.
And I think the following week or so, I was on the breakfast show.
Oh, wow.
And, I'm not a morning person. Duzzy, I'm not a morning person. And we had another conversation. I was like, okay, do you want to try out the afternoon drive show? And I said to him, that sounds like more my time. Yeah. And that's how I ended up on the afternoon drive show, which I currently am a presenter on.
Yeah.
But coming back to your question, all these different things, I think it's so important, like I said, to be versatile as a creator, to survive. I don't know if you find the same.
Yeah. That's the thing. You got to be versatile in it. You know what I mean? And I totally agree with you with that. Yeah, I feel you have to be on top of it all. To make it in this industry. I agree with that. Yeah.
I love that with radio, I get to no day is the same as the previous day, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been really privileged to hear people's stories, and it's so nice to then take those stories and implement it into my writing, because I've interviewed people with some incredible stories.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way, they'll find themselves in my music. Yeah. So Taylor Swift writes songs about all her breakups. I write songs about other people's stories.
About your
and sometimes my own.
Your guests that you've interviewed.
There we go.
In your story. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What you said earlier on, you know, that they eventually gave you the drive time. That's pretty cool of them to do that, because, you know, sometimes I've never had to do this also, so touch wood, but sometimes they give you like the graveyard shift. You know what I mean? Like early hours of the morning when you got literally 1 or 2 night owls that are listening to you, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to work your way up to a daytime cool show, you know, and so it's pretty cool that they gave you that. You're not a morning person. Okay, you're trying the drive time, and that's a better spot for everyone.
Absolutely, and I don't take it for granted. It's such a blessing that the GM at the time is no longer here, but it's just, for me, it's amazing that he saw my potential and that he like trusted me with this big task, because it's not for everyone to go onto a flagship show of a radio station.
Yeah. Can you remember your first show, like your very first show then, and how nervous you were? Because I still remember mine.
I can't, in terms of radio? Or?
Yeah, radio, yeah. Sorry. I know you're focusing on radio a lot now, but we'll focus on your music. But let's just talk about radio, your first show.
My first radio show, wow. I'll talk about when I went onto the drive show. So they asked me to do traffic, and I had never, ever done traffic in my life. Firstly, at the time, I didn't even drive. Okay, I didn't even have my license, and I'm out here telling other people where they need to drive to avoid traffic. So that was quite a weird experience for me, and I had to learn from the guy on Breakfast Team. But it was extremely nerve-wracking, because you're live on air. There's no second take.
Yeah.
There's no second take. You say what you say, and you mean what you say, and people are going to take it and do with it what they want to.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I was most nervous about, saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And always having to remind myself that every show is PG-13.
Yeah, no. Make sure your mic's off between songs, because you can't go swearing and saying things in between. That's happened to me once or twice. But my first show,
off air.
Yeah, exactly. My first show, the system was going all funny. It was like, okay, maybe it was my fault also, but like songs that were supposed to be coming up next, and I've introduced it. It jumps to like 3 songs down. I'm like, what's going on? And like, it's your first show, and you're so nervous, and people are listening in, and that was my first show. So I eventually got out of there. Now I would hope to think I'm a bit better now than that first show.
Absolutely. I mean, something really funny happened to me the other day. I think it was 2 days ago. My co-host stepped out, and so I switched over to running the desk. Okay. And there are a couple of show drops, you know, where the show's identity recorded and everything.
Yeah.
And one of our previous presenters on the show, she's left now already. She's at a different radio station, but that drop that introduces her is still on the system. And I'm live on air, and I'm about to play the next song, and I do like a quick drop in there before the song plays. And it says, "You're now tuned into the Drive Show with Brad," and then it was her name and not me. That was a little bit embarrassing, but I mean, it's the recovery. It's how you recover after something like that.
Yeah. I think when you do it for a number of years, or when you're like comfortable doing it, it sort of becomes like a muscle memory. You know, like when I think like I found my passion, and I think I found what I was meant to be doing all the time when I do the radio or when I'm doing podcasts. It sort of becomes like a muscle memory compared to when you first started. All the nerves are there. Look, there's still going to be nervous days, and you know when things do go wrong, you're like, oh damn, what am I doing here? but
Yeah.
it's a bit more comfortable, and there's like something kicks in, you know, that you can handle a situation if you need to.
Absolutely. Sometimes those nerves are actually a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I think we've covered radio. You're definitely a great radio DJ. I can also hear how you're talking to me and all that, and just corresponding. You said that you're nervous being on the other side of interviews, but you're doing very well, and I can hear you in radio because you got that probably what your previous general manager saw. You kind of got that spark of being in radio. That's
good. Thank you. I'll take that compliment.
Before we talk about the new single, you mentioned you didn't mention the name, but you mentioned before you went into radio, you were actually going on there to talk about your previous work, your previous single. Can you talk to us about your journey of your music? Like how many albums and singles do you have out, you know, up until where you are now?
Well, I don't have many albums out. Only have singles out. I think this is my third single. This is my third single, yeah. I've obviously worked with other artists, but in terms of my own stuff, this is my third single that I'm releasing. And it's just been such a pleasure and honor to work with an incredible team that puts so much love and passion into this track now. That I'm about to release.
Okay, cool. I think let's go to a quick ad over here because I want to start talking about that track.
Sure.
But I just want to go to a quick ad, and you'll come back and we'll go into the new track, which is apparently called Brave, and we'll talk all about that after this.
If you're passionate about the underground music scene and keen on the latest news on bands and musicians from all around the world, then check out Fanbase Music Magazine. Visit fanbasemusicmag.co.za for more info.
Right, and we are back. Those are two adverts back to back. This podcast is proudly brought to you by Fanbase Music Magazine. All of your music news, interviews, and reviews, go and check out fanbasemusicmag.co.za. This podcast is also brought to you by CJC Promotions. If you're in a band or a musician and you're looking for a good PR lady, let me put you in contact with Catherine from CJC Promotions. She's a personal friend of mine. She's very good at what she does, and trust me, she can help further your musical career. Before the adverts, we were busy chatting to the awesome SeanJ, and I still got him along the line via Zoom. Sean, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Duzzy.
I know we said that we're going to talk about your new single, Brave, but I'm just going to put that on the back burner just for a little while. I want to paint a picture for the listeners how me and you came in contact. Now, we got a mutual friend, or I'll call her a friend, Tracy, and she works at RADA, which is a great charity organization that I try and back as much as I can. And then she asked me if I wanted to do an interview with you, and we're doing this interview. How are you involved in RADA, and can you just give the listeners a bit of your understanding what RADA is, and maybe how you involved in that sort of thing, and how did you come involved in it?
Okay, so let's start with the organization firstly. So they are a humanitarian organization that is focused on empowering individuals. So RADA is an acronym basically for rape, alcohol, drug, and abuse. And they really, they do the most incredible. They focus on self-responsibility and self-awareness and just encouraging and inspiring people to really make a difference daily to the lives of others in a very positive way. They run a couple of different projects. There's RADA Care. They focus on humanitarian work in very vulnerable communities, running different old age homes, orphanages, day centers. You get the gist of it. And then they've got RADA Unearthed, which I am now very proudly part of.
Okay.
Is the music. And this will be their fourth album that they are releasing. And I'm part of RADA Unearthed Volume 3. And it's all songs sharing messages of love and inspiration. And I'm so honored to be part of this project.
Yeah, it is a great honor to be a part of it, and what a great organization RADA is, and that's why I always say whenever I see something from them, and I've said to Tracy, if she ever needs anything, I also work with Fanbase Music Magazine. So if a press release needs to go out or you want me to interview someone, my time's always available because I love the work that they do. And sorry if you hear my dogs barking, just ignore that. I am at home. But like you mentioned quite a few things in what they do there. What I do also like what I like what they also do is they work with a lot of women and children, and especially female children. And they got this RADA thing. I must just see what it's actually called. But basically, teenagers. My pad. There we go. Thanks very much. You're really on top of this RADA thing. So thanks
I'm
very
on
much.
top of it. I was briefed.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much. I'm a big believer in this in the MyPad because it's to me it's criminal that you get obviously there is an epidemic with HIV and AIDS and all that, but to me it's criminal that you can get condoms for free and all of that, but things like a woman and her sanitary pads and stuff like that is so expensive, and these teenage girls who aren't going to school because they have to stay at home for the week because they haven't got sanitary pads and all that. And this MyPad, I think, is such a great thing, to help those persons in need. So that's my story. How I started working with RADA, and then obviously from there, like you mentioned, there's so many other different things that they do also, which is they're just an amazing charity, which is awesome, So that's cool.
Absolutely. It's been a dream to work with them.
Yeah. So Unearthed, now can you tell me a little bit more about that? I know Prime Circle's been involved with them. Howie Combrink has been, because I've actually interviewed Howie Combrink about RADA also, so he's been involved. And there's a few other noticeable names, and including now yourself. So you were on RADA on the Unearthed 3, you say, right?
Yes, that's right. That is sorry?
No, you carry on. That is?
So that is the fourth album now that they are releasing, RADA Unearthed Volume 3, which will be released as a number of singles, the first of which was released last month. And that track was done by Leah, really beautiful song. And I actually had the privilege of interviewing her about the song on my show, which is how I actually got into RADA. That is how I was really exposed to RADA the first time, into the RADA family, because I interviewed quite a number of their artists from previous RADA albums since 2021.
Yeah.
And they invited me, I think it was about 2 years ago, in Johannesburg, and I was just so much more inspired, like hearing from the artists, sharing their involvement in the project. I had a conversation with someone on the side, and I said to them, I really would love to be on this album. And then, the RADA team went about, they did their stalking to go check me out, to go check my music out. And then I called from Howie Combrink and said, we'd love to have you next album. And the rest is history.
That's and the rest is definitely history,
Volume 3.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So am I correct in saying that the track Brave is going to be the one that's on the album?
That track will be featuring on the album, and it will be out very, very soon. And I can't wait. I'm actually nervous and excited at the same time, because it's been a minute since I last released, so it should be interesting to also see people's response to the song.
Are you nervous with release day? Because that's, there's two ways that you can look at it. You could be like nervous because it's kind of like going to be everyone else's baby also, and not just yours that you've been working for how many months in the studio. Or are you along the lines of like, and take a breather now, I'm relieved that it's finally getting out? It seems like you might have a bit of nerves sometimes.
I am quite nervous. There's a lot riding, obviously, on the project, and there's a lot of people invested not only their time but their money into this project for it to be a success. And I really hope that people will go and download and stream, because it's not only about exposure for us as the artists, but you're also supporting an incredible cause. Like I said, RADA does amazing work out there. So let this be a moment for you to just do some self-reflection to see how actually sometimes we don't realize how privileged we are. So let this inspire you to do your bit and support causes like this, not only RADA, but to go out there and support causes within your local community who really need that support. Yeah.
For sure. And what better way to do it than through music? I think music actually, that in sports, it kind of brings people together and it makes people, like, even, I remember like with the Rugby World Cup 1995, when we had just come out of apartheid, things were still pretty sketchy. We got a new government, and I think the Rugby World Cup kind of made like black, white, Indian, colored, everyone just like shake hands and put that all aside them. And we won the Rugby World Cup. And I think music has a similar thing where you go to a concert, you're all there for one reason, to have a good time. And it's a fun place to be at. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So music is helping this organization, which I think is awesome,
Absolutely. And for me as an artist, it's really always been my mission to use my craft to inspire and bring healing and just offer people an escape from a world that can sometimes be very dark. Of course, we do need to address those issues through music as well, the dark and the tough times.
Yeah.
But there's also so much light that comes with music.
Yeah. I understand that. And I totally agree with that. Some songs need to be written and some songs need to be heard. And the ones that, those particular songs often are dark and, sometimes it's not of an easy subject matter. But sometimes you don't know who those songs are touching with similar people who are going through similar things, and the same thing. And they just needed a song like that to give them a bit of hope or make them feel better. So I totally agree with what you mean about that. Yeah. So let's talk about the new single now. How did you come to that song title, and what is the song about? In your own words, when you're writing it and all that. What was happening when you wrote Brave?
Wow. So Brave was actually written a few years back. Okay. At the time when I wrote the song, I was really struggling with like my mental health, and when life gets tough, sometimes you can become a little bit despondent.
Yeah.
When things don't seem to work out, you're putting so much time and effort into things, and then it just doesn't work out, and you start becoming a bit despondent. And so that is how Brave actually came about. It was more an internal dialogue of me encouraging myself to pick myself back up and go out there and be brave and face the world and just do what I need to do and believe in myself. And Brave really, I in a previous interview, I said, as humans, we will fall many times in life, but it's about how we get up, back up and being brave and taking the first steps towards a better life. And that's really what the song is about. When you listen to the song, it sounds very happy. Okay. which was, I'm sure we're going to get into the music video a bit later, but we needed to strike a balance between the happy and then, bringing a little bit more darkness to the song, which is where the music video came in. And I worked with an incredible director doing that. Seven.
Yeah.
He just did an incredible job shooting the video and then coming up with the concept.
Yeah.
Which was, and all the tears are real in the video.
Is it? Okay. Well, that's really cool. It's almost like Sinead O'Connor. I don't know if you know that song that she sings, her famous one, Nothing Compares to Me.
Nothing compares.
Nothing compares to you or to me or whatever. But in the video, she also has a tear streaming down. I've always wondered, do they do something first to make her do that to you, or is it real tears? So it can be done if you need to have a cry on a video.
It can be done, but all emotions, no one was harmed in the making of this video, but all emotions were super real, and that's a discussion that I had with Seven when we filmed, as I really wanted to go back to that dark place. And there were moments where you know, it was like, cut, I think we've got it. And I would not stop crying because I had to take myself back into that space where I was when I wrote the song.
Yeah.
So triggering, but yeah, and then imagine yourself shooting at a graveyard early in the morning.
Wow,
So
that must have been
that sets the tone for the day.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
But I don't want to give too much. I don't want to give too much away on the video.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to watching the video because, like, I want to see the happy to the darkness. You know what I mean? That you're gonna see in the video and listening to the actual song. What you said earlier on is quite interesting, and what you said, you know, to be brave, and when you're actually going through some real shit, some real stuff. You know what I mean? It's hard to get out of that position. You know what I mean? And it's like you say, you just got to like be brave, and you just got to be strong and actually get through to the other side. And a lot of the times it's hard, and it's not easy. But when you look back, it's like, hey, I actually got through some serious stuff over there, but I came out the other side all right. But getting yourself to go through that and fight those battles is one hell of a ride, if you want to put it that. Hello? Are you there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, I can hear you. It just went dead there for a second after I stopped speaking.
Oh, dead air.
Yeah.
And just to pick up from that, that's also one of the things that RADA focus on. It's about also taking the responsibility and owning your stuff. Well, I want to use the other word, owning your stuff, and really just being resilient and taking the steps that need to be taken for you to live a better life.
Yeah. Well, well done first of all for yourself, because obviously it's something that you had to, like, it made you cry in a video, so it was quite tricky, and it's obviously some hectic stuff that you had to go through. So first of all, well done for actually coming out the other side and being able to talk about it now and say, it kind of gives people other people hope, saying that it can get better. You know, stuff does, you know, whatever happens, there is a light at the end of the tunnel most of the time, which is, so that I hope your song touches people in that way and gives people hope, which I think will be awesome. Yeah.
I hope so too. That's what we want to do with all these songs on this album. It's about love and inspiration. So that's really what I hope that people take away when they listen to the song.
Yeah. Earlier on, you said you had this great team around you. Now, what I want to touch on is who was in this team, and also the recording process of this. Where did you record it? How did you record it? Who was involved? You know, what made Brave happen? And not just Brave, who's making Unearth happen?
Okay, so let's start with the recording process. The song was produced by Mark Beeling.
Okay.
And
Mean Mr. Mustard fame.
Mr. Mean, Mr. Mustard, that one.
Yeah.
And wow, what a dream to work with Mark. We were just in synergy with one another. I did have a giggle at him because when I arrived at studio, he was like, okay, RADA booked for us for 4 hours for you to record the song, and then it should be done. And I laughed. I said to him, Mark, you clearly have not worked with me before because it's not going to be 4 hours. I can tell you that much, mate. I'm someone that when it comes to my music, one of the things I really like to focus on is building harmonies, specifically vocal harmonies.
Okay.
That is like where I thrive. That's what I enjoy doing. And with Brave, I really wanted to build up this choir. You know, and to build a choir, you need to record each line at least 6 times for it to sound choir.
Yeah.
So Mark and I had a lot of fun recording different harmonies. So Mark was one of the integral persons in making the song happen. Of course, was also mixed by Mark and then mastered in New York City by Andy Merrill from Sterling Sound.
Wow.
And this song, I never thought that one of my songs would be mastered in the US like Randy Merrill.
They really brought out all the stops. They really brought out Mark Bailing, USA.
Listen, RADA, they pulled out all the stops. They did for me to work with. Yeah. So, and then of course with the video, I had a 7 directing and filming the video.
Okay. Let's talk about that video. I know you don't want to give too much away, but can you just mention again? You may have mentioned already, but who worked on the video and what can you give away? I know it's going to be dark and it's filmed at a graveyard at 1:00 in the morning. What else, if you can? I don't want to put you on the spot and make you give too much away, but what can you tell us?
So we actually featuring in the video. I've got 2 young actors. Manuela and I cannot remember his name now, but I had two Jaden and Manuela. I had 2 young actors with me in the video, and they play my little brother and sister in the video. And I'm not going to give you away the story, but they play my little brother and sister. And then we also had a young lady playing a social worker in the video, and then RADA's own people feature in the video. 2 of RADA's own people, part of the RADA team, are also featured in the video. Donovan and Matumi. We'll see in the video. Awesome. I think that's all I can say in terms of the team, and then obviously shot and directed by 7.
By 7. Okay, cool. I won't probe you anymore to try and give me anything else. You'll have to wait for the actual music video. Is there a time when it is coming out, or do you know that, or is it still too much? Is it still too early days to tell us that?
I can tell you when it will be out. Well, the song will be dropping on the 7th of June. Okay. And the video will be released 2 weeks after, on the 21st of June. Here's one more thing. I had the opportunity to film at Cradle of Humankind.
Wow, that's cool.
One of the scenes were filmed at Cradle of Humankind, and wow, what a crisp morning they chose for us to film at the Cradle of Humankind. I had cyclists driving past looking very confused about why is there a Bluetooth speaker on and some random guy singing out in the veld. What's going on? So that was quite interesting to see people's facial expressions.
These kids and their TikTok videos,
these kids, they'll go to great lengths to get the perfect shot.
Awesome. It sounds so amazing and it sounds so exciting. So I'm really looking forward to it all. And listeners, please get involved with RADA. It's such an amazing charity or organization. So please get involved. Sean just gave us the dates when the music's going to be out, and as well as the video. Please go and stream it or download it, whatever you got to do to support it. And also go and check out the video when it is out on the 21st of June. And just give you a like and subscribe and comments, and be nice when you're commenting. I hate keyboard warriors when they try and be negative in the comments. So be nice in the comment section, and let's get not this only RADA out there, but let's get RADA's doing a great thing as well as what they do. What we've mentioned, they're also being great for the South African musicians or the musicians who are working with us, which is very important. You know what I mean? So they're really putting out all the stuff, and if anything, you will also be supporting South African music, which is just as important as the other stuff, the amazing stuff that RADA is doing also. So get involved. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What else do you have in the pipeline? I know we're still trying to get Brave out and what the album for RADA and that, but do you personally have anything else that you can tell us in the pipeline in terms of music and that?
Well, I've been writing quite a bit, and maybe Mark doesn't know this yet. I did joke about it when we worked together, but I would really love to work with him again. I've written quite a few new songs, new material, and Mark is definitely one of those people that I'm keeping in mind to possibly produce one of those songs. He was, like I said, it was an absolute dream to work with, and what I enjoyed was he allowed me to just be free as an artist and to explore with my sound and just go boss. And that's exactly what I did. And at some point, you won't hear that clearly in the song, because it's mixed and mastered so well by these incredible people.
Yeah.
But at some point, I was standing in the corner of the recording booth because I had to stand that far away from the mic in order to sing a certain part in the backing vocals, which was like fully belted. And it just created this awesome sound the way they mixed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my favorite moments that I'm taking away from this experience recording the song. It's something that'll always just stay with me.
Yeah. Everything I've heard about Mark Bailing, it just sounds amazing because I've interviewed a few musicians who have worked with him, and there's a musician named Gaz. I think he said wonderful things about him. And one of my friends, Alani Kays or Kaza, I can never say her surname properly. But anyway, she's worked with Mark Bailing, and it just seems, and just what you said over there, where you had to stand at the other side of the studio, he seems to allow to think out of the box, and it's not just a straightforward recording. You know, you get to be yourself, and you get to try different things to get the best product on what you're trying to do, which is amazing. That shows a great producer.
Absolutely, and just looking at a project like the RADA and Earth album, as a producer, if you want to be part of this this project, I feel like you have to be very versatile as a producer because you're working with artists who and different genres and different personalities. So I think as a producer, you really have to be versatile in terms of understanding sound. Because I can promise you, my song is totally different to another artist who Mark also produced on the same album. So as a producer, you really have to be versatile. I mean, and I'm sure he dealt with a lot from us because as you can hear, I'm a talker. I'm a talker. So a lot of that session was me and Mark talking. Talking and Mark making me some delicious tea. We drank a lot of tea that day. So yeah, but what an incredible guy, man. Such a lovely soul.
But sometimes those conversations are important because it helps him to suss you out exactly the kind of person you want to be or the type of song that you're trying to record. So I bet to half of this conversation, he was like mentally taking notes. Okay, well, we can do this now, you know, because he got to know you better. You weren't just another musician coming in. He got to know you, which is awesome as a producer too. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, when it came to the vocal parts, definitely he then understood my vision after a couple of conversations because I said to him, I want some dissonance in the backing.
Yeah.
So Mark was sitting at the piano, he's like, okay, but if I look at the chord, that note does not fit in the chord. I'm like, yeah, but let me record it. And then you will listen. So it might not fit in the chord, but it's going to sound right.
Yeah.
And that's how we understood each other, you know. And I'm actually excited. Getting to talk to you now about the song, I'm actually excited now.
I'm also
for people
so excited
to hear the song.
I'm also so excited right there with you, dude. I cannot wait to hear it. And well done to you and Rada and Mark and everyone else at your whole team and the video and all that. It's going to be really, really awesome. And I'll be backing it when it all comes out. Also, good luck on the new stuff. I know that we kind of announced to Mark that you want to work with him now. So if he's going to listen to this, then Mark, I'm sorry, you've been summoned to work with Sean.
You've been summoned.
Yeah, but there we go. I think it'll be a great match though. And then also good luck with all of that, you know what I mean? And you're always welcome back on the podcast. So when you do release something else, let me know and we'll promote whatever else you're releasing after all this
Thank you so much. Thank you. I just have to give a big shout and a big thank you to JP and to Tracy. Who they work tirelessly. Tracy is sending me messages early in the morning to update me on stuff that's happening, and it's constantly back and forth. But they've been so amazing, just in calming my mind, because my mind can sometimes be all over the place. You know how it is with radio. But they have just been so absolutely incredible, and just a huge thank you to them also for investing not in myself as an artist, but into the music industry and just realizing the power that music has.
Yeah. Well, whenever I've dealt with Tracy, I don't know JP too well, although I have, he's been around and I've heard of him and stuff, but whenever I've dealt with Tracy, it's always been great and professional and friendly, and she's an awesome person, and I know she's a great asset to RADA, and RADA's just the greatest organization out there. So it's a home run all round.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Everyone's a star.
Yeah. One more thing. I know I'm keeping you on the line now. Sorry, Sean. But one more thing. Do you have any upcoming gigs, or do you play gigs? Is there anything else that you want to punt before I let you go?
At the moment, no upcoming gigs. I'm sort of really just focusing on taking the time to make this project a success.
Yeah.
There are some other things in the pipeline which I can't mention at this moment yet.
Yeah.
But do keep your eyes locked onto all my socials.
Cool. Let's ask a social media question. Where should people go and like and follow you, and where can they find your music or anything? Where sell yourself now, dude.
Yeah, so you can find all my music on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, YouTube. Just type in SeanJ Music, and then on Instagram, that's where I'm mostly active on Instagram at SeanJ411, and then my Facebook page at SeanJ Official Page.
Cool.
And I now apparently have a TikTok as well.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. I now apparently have a TikTok at SeanJ. I think it's at SeanJ_music. So go and check it out. I'll be posting some fun things on there over the next few weeks.
Awesome. Well, it all sounds so exciting. Listeners, whenever I do ask a social media question, I always say this. If you are listening to this podcast on Anchor.fm or Spotify, please scroll down to the description of this episode, because I will be posting all of Sean's social media links over there also. So if you didn't catch exactly what Sean said over there, then just scroll down and you can go and click on all the links and go and give your likes and your follows and your subscribes and your comments and whatever you got to do to support Sean. And what I'm also going to do is, now that we're talking about the description, I'm also going to post as much RADA information over there and what pages to go and like and follow over there also. Because like I say, guys, and Sean backs me up on this. It is such a great organization. And I'm not just saying that. I really do believe in this organization. So I'm hoping that a lot of you listeners will get involved also, and they'll be really, really great.
Absolutely.
Cool. Sean, it's been such a great conversation. It's really cool when I do speak to a talker, as you said you are, because I don't know if you feel sometimes when you do interviews and some people give you like one-worded answers, and it's like pulling teeth sometimes trying to get an answer.
That's the worst.
That's the worst. But it's so great to actually talk to someone who actually can hold a conversation. So it's been really great. And like I said, you're always welcome back. So hopefully you'll do a part 2 of this one day on the Anything Goes podcast.
I would love to do that. Love to consider the show, Duzzy.
Thank you very much. One more thing I've got to ask you. This is how I let all of the bands and musicians go on my show. I asked them my random question of the week. And I asked the same question to every band or musician, and I'm about to ask it to you. So if you're stuck in a lift, or an elevator with any celebrity, past or present, dead or alive, who would it be? And then here's the hard one. What would you ask them? And that's my random question to let you go off the podcast.
Wow.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
David Foster. Foster would be that person.
Okay.
David Foster, producer extraordinaire. I would ask him if he can please produce a song for me. I would love that.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I mean, who knows? Maybe, I don't want you to be stuck in the lift. That must be quite nerve-wracking, but hopefully one day you do get to meet him and he'll produce a song for you. That'll be really awesome.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Yeah, cool. Sean, you have a great evening, and we'll definitely chat soon, one day soon. And good luck with everything, the new track and stuff you're doing with RADA and Unearth and all and also your other stuff outside of all that. Just good luck with everything. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Duzzy, for having me and for the opportunity to chat with you today.
Awesome.
It was such a privilege and an honor.
It's been a privilege and an honor to have you also. Right, guys, that was SeanJ over there. Please do go and check out his stuff. Like I said, his links are in the description of this episode. So do go and check out all of that, as well as RADA, and go and check out their stuff. Also, all of that will be in the description. That is it for today. Join us again next time, where I'll be chatting to another cool band or a musician. Until then, keep building the scene.